So Professor Liu is going to show you how do you do chapter A project 1. For this A project 1, and actually this project involve all 4 kinds of loop. That's why I want you to practice this project and to serve as a review for your loop. So may I start it with you right now? So first of all, I will do the step 1. Step 1, so I open and to go to my step 1. Is that okay? Alright, so I'm in my step 1. Let me move this to halfway and close this. Alright, so I'm going to step 1. So step 1 is very popular. Is you use for loop. Double for loop is one loop inside another loop. So when do you use for loop, double for loop? That's when you have a loop inside another loop. Okay, that's what we talk about, a loop inside another loop, a for loop inside another for loop. So let me run this program with you right now. So I build it, rebuild it, and I start without debugging. Alright, so now let's use dollar sign. Everybody like dollar sign. Is that right? Okay, let's put 5. So I got 5 by 5. Okay, so that's easy. The code is right here. You can tell because for this program, obvious is a table I want to use, and I know already 5 by 5, so that's specific. So that will be a for loop for colon inside another for loop for a row. Okay, so now we are going to move on right now. So we're going to move on and to see how do we do different thing. So right now, look, so we are going to use something else you learn from chapter 5 and 6. So I have to control right now. I want it control. I don't want to all dollar sign or pound sign. I want to have a selection. So whenever you need to have a selection, then you add the if. If I'm in the first row, I'm in the last row, I'm first column, last column, I'm going to print out the symbol. Otherwise, it's blank. All right. So let's take a look 2 right now. So the 2 is like a 1, but now we added what we learned from your chapter 5 and 6. We learned, well, I'm going to add a selection right now. I have a 2 selection, if and else. That's why I do like this, if and else. So 2 selection right now. So let's run this program right now. Alright, so the same program, let's put pound sign. Okay, now I put 5 right now. Then I add a selection right now. I say if that's first row or last row, first column or last column, I will draw the symbol. Otherwise, I will draw a empty, blank. That's what we learn. And we also learn from chapter 3 and 4, like compare, we use equal. And we also learn from chapter 3 the size -1 because your row start from 0. Now we are going to continue right now. So we learn the for loop, right? We learn the for loop. Oh, I need to close this, okay? Just a minute. So we learn the for loop, and we also double for loop. Now we need to control. For right now, I want to control the user input. So, and we'll not allowed to use, we give a range. I only want one, two 1 to 20, 2 to 20. Okay, so anyway, if you give me the wrong range, I'm going to, as a programmer, I'm going to stop you, and I'm going to stop you. So here we're going to learn this right now. Okay, so we have a double for loop plus your chapter 3 and 4 if else. Now we add something called while loop right now. Watch this while loop. So while loop is what? Pre-test while loop. You need to read one more time, and we're going to put right here. So this is our update read. And when we do that, we pre-test, we pre-test, we control the user. You really cannot pass in this line number 18. You don't get it. You will never get into line 18 until you follow what the programmer said requirement. Our requirement is between 1 to 20. All right. So if you don't pass it, and you use while loop to control that. So you run this one more time. So right now, enter favorite, we still do pound sign. But right now, I say 1 to 20. If I put 40, and the program will say invalid. So it will not allow me to go to line 18. It will stop me. I will be blocked right now. I was blocked by while loop, because while loop is pre-test while loop. It will block user until you provide the valid input. So I'm going to put -1. I was blocked again because that's wrong. That's not correct input. Until I say, okay, I'll do 5. Now I got 5 and I can stop. All right. So one more time, when you use while loop, most likely you want to control user's input. And you want to control it, that's pre-test. So you want to work like this way. You do not allow user to enter until they input what the variable, the valid input you required. Okay, that's very important, because this is very important of validation. You do not want user input is wrong or not appropriate to damage your system, whatever. So while loop is so important. You pre-test to control user's input. But again, what happens if the user already control anything, but I want to repeat, and then I want to use do while loop, because this time this is a process. Right? So I will do the do while loop right now. So I add the do while loop right here. All right, and I'm going to build it. And I'm going to start without debugging. All right, so enter started, fine, pound, okay. And if I put 30, it doesn't allow me to go until I say, okay, fine, I follow the rule, 5. Then it will ask me, do you want to do it again? Yes. All right, so do the same thing right now. I want $sign. Okay, now if I put 70, it will block me until I say, fine, I do 6. Then I don't want to do it. No. Okay, so this project demonstrate all kind of loop. The 4 kinds of loop we learn from this class. So one more time, we have for loop. You know a specific number you need to do. And we also learn, okay, inside the loop you want to have a selection, because it's not all the time you you do the exactly same thing. Inside loop, you may want to do different thing. You use if else to control. Then in your process, if you want to control users input, you use while loop. That's pre-test. It doesn't allow user to get into your process if the user did not provide the valid input you required. Then once everything is settled, we want this be repeat, we use do while loop. I hope you like this